The Galactic Assembly convened in the crystalline halls of Nexus Prime, where representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to discuss the growing threat of the Krell swarm. Each delegation sat in their designated sectors, surrounded by the technological marvels that defined their civilizations. The synthetics brought their quantum disruptors. The Aquarians displayed their plasma cannons. The crystalline collective showcased gravitational implosion devices. Every council had weapons instruments of war carefully designed, tested, and approved by their respective governments. And then there was the Deathworld Council. Nox stood at the entrance of Sector 7, his weathered face betraying nothing as he surveyed the assembly. He was tall by human standards, with dark hair graying at the temples and eyes that had seen too many battlefields. As the official representative of the Deathworld Coalition, a collection of the galaxy's most hostile planets, he carried no visible weapon. Behind him, almost hidden in his shadow, stood Alexa. She was shorter, leaner, with auburn hair pulled back in a practical braid. Her green eyes moved constantly, cataloging exits, analyzing threat vectors, and measuring distances. Unlike Nox's formal diplomatic attire, she wore simple tactical clothing that allowed for maximum mobility. To the untrained observer, she looked like an aide or perhaps a bodyguard. The crystalline ambassador, Thexazar, approached Nox with what passed for a smile among his kinda slight refraction of light through his facial planes. Ambassador Nox, we've been reviewing your council's submission for the Joint Defense Initiative. I notice you've listed no weapons systems, no military technology, no defensive arrays. Surely this is an error in translation? Nox's expression remained neutral. No error, Ambassador. We submitted exactly what we intended. Thexazar's crystalline structure flickered with confusion. But every council must contribute to the defense against the Krell. The synthetics have pledged 50,000 drone fighters. The Aquarians, their entire deep space fleet. What does the Deathworld Council offer? Nox gestured behind him. We're offering her. The assembly fell silent. Thousands of alien eyes and optical sensors turned toward Alexa. She didn't flinch under the scrutiny, though her hand drifted almost imperceptibly toward her hip. A chittering laugh emerged from the insectoid delegation. A single organic? Is this a joke? The Krell swarm consists of millions of bioengineered killing machines. What can one small creature possibly accomplish? Nox's jaw tightened, but Alexa stepped forward before he could respond. When she spoke, her voice was calm, almost conversational. The Krell are effective because they're adaptable, relentless, and they don't feel fear or pain. They're the perfect biological weapons. She paused, letting the words sink in. But they've never faced something from a Class 12 death world. Preposterous. Thexazar interjected. We've analyzed your physiology. Humans are fragile compared to most sentient species. Your reaction times are slower than synthetics. Your strength inferior to Molden warriors. Your sensory capabilities limited compared to, you're right. Alexa interrupted. On paper, we lose to almost everyone. But evolution doesn't care about fairness. It cares about survival. She moved then. A blur of motion that sent several delegates stumbling backward. In 3 seconds, she had crossed 15 meters, disarmed a synthetic guard's plasma rifle, field stripped it to components, and reassembled it all while maintaining eye contact with Thexazar. We evolved on a planet that was actively trying to kill us, she continued, tossing the rifle back to the stunned guard. Predators in every ecosystem, diseases that could wipe out civilizations, weather patterns that could flash freeze or incinerate in hours. And we didn't just survive, we thrived. We climbed to the top of the food chain and then kept climbing until we left the planet entirely. Nox picked up the thread. Every species here developed weapons because you needed them to feel safe. Humans developed weapons because we already were weapons. Alexa isn't just a soldier. She's the product of 4 billion years of evolution on a planet. That makes the Krell breeding grounds look like a vacation resort. The Aquarian delegate, Murdeep, bubbled skeptically. Even if she is skilled, the Krell number in the millions. One human cannot. The lights went out. Emergency systems kicked in after 3 seconds, bathing the hall in red emergency lighting. But in those 3 seconds, something had changed. Alexa was no longer standing beside Nox. She had vanished. Security breach. Someone shouted. Possible Krell infiltration. Panic rippled through the assembly. Delegates activated personal shields. Guards raised weapons. The synthetics deployed defensive protocols. Then Alexa's voice echoed through the chamber, coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. In those 3 seconds, I moved through your security perimeter, marked 17 critical infrastructure points, identified 43 potential hostages, and positioned myself at the optimal location for maximum disruption. A pause, and none of your sensors detected me. The main lights flickered back on. Alexa stood on the central podium, where the assembly chairman had been sitting moments before. The chairman himself was on the floor, unharmed but thoroughly startled, his ceremonial scepter in Alexa's hand. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Humans have something most species don't. We call it persistence hunting. We don't need to be faster or stronger. We just need to be patient, adaptable, and relentless. We chase our prey until they collapse from exhaustion. We track them across continents. We follow them through environments that would kill most species. And we never, ever give up. She returned the scepter and stepped down from the podium, moving back to Nox's side as if nothing had happened. The Krell are designed to overwhelm through numbers and ferocity, but they're not designed to face a predator that thinks, adapts, and refuses to quit. Send me into their hive, and I'll show you what a Deathworld weapon really looks like. The assembly remained silent for a long moment. Finally, Exeter spoke, his crystalline voice subdued. Perhaps we should discuss deployment strategies. Nox nodded slowly. Perhaps you should. Every council had weapons, but only the Deathworld Council understood that the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy wasn't forged in a factory or grown in a lab. It was forged in the crucible of a planet that never stopped trying to kill its children, and the children who learned to kill back.